We are here at ICON in Los Angeles, California, the legendary company that builds amazing Ford Broncos, FJs, and we're getting a tour from Sherif, the Chief Operating Officer of ICON. Super excited. They use our software, they use our tools, but the highlight is going to be seeing everything you guys do here. So with that, let's go in the building and have you show us what ICON is all about.
Well, welcome. Glad to show you guys around. So come on in. Oh, it's your first time here, so I'll give you guys the nickel tour.
Awesome.
There's not much eye candy in the showroom because we don't have the fortune of having a lot of paused projects, but in the background you'll see our first exercise at an EV, which is in 49 Merc, all electric. Sort of transcendent in terms of EV builds, has full HVAC and a lot of capabilities that most EVs wouldn't try. And we're kind of perfecting that formula as the future becomes EV. Right in front of you is a pretty cool chassis with, as you can see, two massive turbos in the front.
Turbos, yeah.
But this is a Nelson Racing engine, and on top of this, back in the late 60s, Chevrolet used to produce a three-door Suburban between 67 and 72. So this client has a 1970, which we converted into a four-door. It's going to be mated to this chassis and then put 1,000 horsepower to it because you can never have enough horsepower.
No, never ever have enough power. Those turbos are insane.
Yeah.
What about that Mercedes?
So that's a really cool car that we actually found in Alaska that we were going to do a project for that's still in wait. We haven't started it.
Okay.
It will be a Derelict, but we are going to do what ICON normally does, which is going to basically introduce modern everything to a vintage body.
It looks to be in pretty good condition, actually.
Great condition.
Yeah, compared to some of the
great
other things
condition.
we see in the back lot.
They don't make them like they used to.
Yeah. So what else goes here? You've got offices here. You've got some.
Here's our retail space. So we don't get a lot of retail consumers, but this is where we basically stage things. Right behind you is a design wall.
Okay.
So when clients come, because the most important decision they have to make is what color and what kind of textiles, we have this little design wall which we go and we kind of spitball with them ideas, and then we put little palettes together.
That's really cool. Are those interior color
They
palettes?
are. Some are Aztec, some are
patterns like
Mayan,
that?
some
That's
are pattern,
crazy.
some are Moroccan. We work with clients because a lot of clients get inspiration from different things, and we kind of want to make sure that they understand that we're building these cars for them. So it's very critical that they feel heard, and when they sit in it, they had a hand in designing it.
Very personalized at this level.
Yeah,
absolutely.
completely.
Awesome.
Well, come on in. This is where the fun begins.
Yeah. This chair pod is cool too.
So this is where sort of the mad scientists go to work and the magic happens. Every department we have is broken up to dedicated staff. So our philosophy is the ace of one versus the jack of all.
Okay.
So every employee gets hired and becomes an apprentice and then gets trained. And then at the end of that process, they're dedicated to a singular stage.
So FJ people don't cross over the Bronco. They're
FJ works in FJ,
specialized.
Bronco works in Bronco,
Okay.
Thriftmaster in Thriftmaster, Derelicts and Reformers in that specific department, and so on. And as we do that, we find that the yields a better product.
Okay.
And more importantly, the proficiency and final product is much better.
Okay.
So everything starts at that end right there,
Okay.
and it works its way up the stage supply line here.
So we're walking over, the beginning is there.
So we're going to walk
Coming
over
up.
to the beginning.
Okay.
And again, everything is staged in a way where right now he's fabricating the roof rack, as you can see.
Yeah.
So you're kind of looking at this and it looks like a complete car on a chassis, but it's raw. So we do that on all our builds.
Okay.
And that's sort of part of the process in what we do, because all the metal fabrication, all the body fabrication, everything is done by hand.
Wow.
So it's a very detail-oriented, time-intensive process. But as he does this, anything that's out of line or not fitting properly, we do adjustments in raw before we go out and get the product finished. So before powder coat, before paint, before any of that, all the adjustments in fabrication get done at this stage.
So you mentioned something earlier about how everything is essentially built, taken apart, and built again, right? They're built twice.
Yeah. It's built twice.
Yeah.
To some people, it doesn't make sense. To us, at this price point, and to our clients, it's a way for us to ensure the fit and finish, and it's more importantly a way to make sure that everything is the way we intended it to be, so that you don't have a finished product and realize, well, this doesn't fit, I have to modify it.
Yeah. Wow. So this one is going to be, this is the FJ line, and we've got the Bronco line coming out
this
here.
is the FJ line, and this is the Bronco line. So on the Bronco line, the metal fab we don't do in-house.
Okay.
We do the same exact stage, but we have a facility outside that does that.
Okay.
These are the two rollers. These are complete chassis that are waiting for those two bodies, which actually one of them just landed, you can kind of see right there.
Okay.
So the process is we do the metal fabrication,
Yeah.
identical between FJ and Bronco, and then we send it out to get all the paint or powder coat, depending on which one, because all the FJs are powder coated,
These are painted.
Broncos are painted.
Yeah. They are gorgeous paint jobs too.
Thank you.
They look amazing.
Yeah, and then as we do that, we build these complete rollers, and then everything is fit and finish, ready. And when the body comes back, we do a lot of dynamatting and then prep it for Line-X, which is a polyurea coating that we do on the underside and top. And then that gets mated to this. And then final assembly on this takes about 8 weeks. So right now it takes us about 16 weeks to do a Bronco, singular, time beginning to end.
Yeah.
And just over 11 weeks to do an FJ.
Okay, so FJs are a little more efficient still.
A little bit more efficient.
Okay.
And a lot of that has to do with what we control internally versus what's happening outside.
I see. So these both have Coyote motors.
They do. All the Bronco formula is a Coyote crate motor.
Okay, Coyote crate motor, whereas all the FJs are an LS3.
LS3 6.2 liter.
Gotcha. Very cool. And then various transmission. Can you get a manual transmission on these?
You can.
Okay.
You can get a 5-speed manual or a 4-speed automatic on both offerings.
Gotcha.
And then you basically are set with Fox Racing suspension and then top of the line Brembo brakes. And then our wheels, if you haven't noticed, these are forged, made in California wheels. So they're lighter and stronger. And they can handle some rock crawling and some off-roading.
And bigger, so you can fit those massive brakes underneath too,
This is the smallest we can go because that was a big challenge. They're 18 inches. We couldn't get any smaller to fit the Brembos. Brembos are massive.
Yeah. You need that stopping power for the more horsepower,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. As we kind of work through here, you see the same mirror stage right here. So this is a rolling chassis that's complete for an FJ. And what this one is, if you can actually, I'll show you right here, Eddie.
Some of the details.
Some details. So this is an LS3 motor that's made it to a 4-speed automatic transmission and an Atlas transfer case. Some of the details that we kind of take a little bit further than most is something like the wiring harness. This is OEM quality, OEM manufactured wiring harness, full diagram, so you can trace everything. When we put these in cars, a lot of people say, why do you go to the extent of doing something like this where we can just do it by hand like a lot of these people in the aftermarket? But this sort of is another step or another differentiator that sets ICON apart from everybody else. And it's a great detail when you look at it with Deutsch Tech plugs. And you're like,
organized, motorsports grade effectively.
Completely.
I think you said something about these are heirloom pieces.
They are. So, in this day and age, we all go lease cars. I think over 70% of cars in America are leased. It's not in our formula at all. So when we're building these, we're not building them with the extent that you're gonna, exchange it in 3 years.
Not trading these things then.
It's an heirloom. You're gonna probably give it to somebody, your kid, and hand it down, but they're built to last.
What's the highest mileage ICON, do you know?
Good question. I actually had one in not even a week ago that had 50,000.
That's impressive.
It's a daily driver. So
wow.
While some clients get them because they become sort of trophy pieces, it's a journey of acquiring it because you want it. We do others that they understand what they want, and it's one of those acquisitions that I'm buying it to drive, not to put in a garage.
That's got to be a cool experience, a daily drive, an ICON. That's goals there for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Similar sort of menu in terms of the parts that you're seeing. Fox Racing suspension, you got the reservoirs, you got the Brembo brakes, you got the Art Morrison chassis.
So everything is on an Art Morrison chassis.
Everything's on an Art Morrison chassis.
Gotcha. And BF Goodrich tires, and you guys are truly working with some of the best brands in the business for sure.
It's the who's who of automotive components. Yeah, absolutely.
These wheels look awesome too. So
Thank
also
you.
forged?
Forged. This is our new school design.
Yeah.
Our old school design is the closed face.
Okay.
This one gives you a little bit of a peek so you can kind of see a red Brembo peeking at you.
Absolutely. With the ICON logo right on there.
With the ICON right on there. So this car is going to be assembled. So right now what you see in 3 different stages with a roof rack sitting here, a body sitting here, and a chassis sitting there. Once this gets the Line-X, which is that polyurea coating, this gets assembled, and then it goes from what you guys see here. This will be a driving unit in 1 month.
1 month.
1 month.
Wow. So you're just essentially waiting for everything to come together and then
Yeah,
just
because
very
now
quickly.
it's just the Lego. So all the
Yeah.
fabrication's done, all the finish is done, all
Yeah.
the coatings have been finished.
Yeah.
So now it's about putting it together
Okay.
and then testing it, putting your program on it,
Yeah.
making sure everything's happy.
Make sure the powertrain's happy, no codes, no.
Yep, and then releasing.
This blows my mind though, the amount of just parts. Every hinge, every little spacer bracket looks to all be powder coated.
Unfortunately, the devil's in the detail
Yeah.
with everything in every business. So when you deal with, again, a lot of quality and hundreds of components,
Yeah.
just line item list, we have over 400 items per car.
Wow.
So when you're kind of looking, and I'm not even counting the little pieces
Yeah.
here. So when you kind of look at that, you have to find a way logistically to manage that process and understand how it's going to go from one to the end seamless as possible. And that's what building a business is.
Yeah, that's impressive. Seriously impressed. So we've got some more complete vehicles right here.
So this is the pre-final. So
Okay.
this vehicle right here that you see here is getting released today.
Yeah.
This is the pre-final stage. So it's in this lift here.
Okay.
So what he's doing is finding up the amp steps.
Okay.
And then once he's done with that, this goes into test drive today.
Gotcha. And every single vehicle gets what, 750 miles?
750 miles per vehicle.
Yeah.
Allows us to kind of chase out any gremlins, debug the car, make sure everything's happy, make sure if something's going to fail, it'll fail on us before it gets to our clients.
And you're going through highway, street driving, off-road,
Everything.
everything.
It's a dedicated series of drives that test all components.
That's awesome. Yeah. So tell us about these two, because they're very different, but they all are so impressive.
This is what the finished product is, and this is what ICON's all about. So you get an FJ that stands a little bit different, so it has this prowess to it. This one's done in the old school finish, in the sand tan body, which is the powder.
Yeah.
And then we used a brown sort of powder coat offset trim, which we've tried for the first time on this one.
I love how it matches the top. That looks nice.
Came out very well. Client's very happy with the pictures. He was a little bit nervous.
Okay.
On the inside, we go in terms of textile hunting, depending on what the client wants. Do you want something that's easy to clean and durable, or do you want something more refined and elegant? And you can get everything in between. The most difficult choice for clients is fit and finish details. Like, I want this color and I want this interior. And that's where we would probably invest the most amount of time.
Okay.
Because the menu in terms of chassis offerings, most of these cars come fully equipped.
Yeah.
It's not just about being pretty, it's about having the ability to function and do what we want them to do. So this beauty is getting ready to go home today.
Oh, wow.
So at the end of this, you build it, you form an attachment to it, you have to let them go, unfortunately. But it's going to its forever home, and the client's been anticipating it. And again, the beauty of this is sand tan, but you look at all the trim, whether it be the hood hooks or the hinges or the soft top.
Even like the lights surround everything.
The mirrors,
Yeah.
the bumper, they're all powder coated in our particular powder coat, which is a brown
Okay.
specific formula that has a little bit of fleck in it.
Okay.
But it gives you a beautiful contrast between the two. In fact, even the wheels, which again are forged wheels, are done in the same way. And then you put the Toyota center caps in the center. You open it.
Wow.
The door hinges, the mirror map pocket, the gauge cluster, all of that kind of pulls in the exterior and the interior so you can get one feel for the car. And then on the leather, it's a very high grade leather that will age beautifully. And this one has a configuration of 2 jump seats in the back.
Did you see that? This is a very different feel from the Bronco. And
Completely.
Yeah.
Completely. In terms of utilitarian cars, I want to have fun, I want to rock crawl, I want to go off-road. They don't come much better than this.
This one's the 5-speed manual?
Yep.
Ah, that's cool. I love all the geckos just all over the place. That little detail is so,
lizard.
yeah.
And then right above you, just stuff like LED lighting overhead.
Oh yeah.
Ambient lighting when you're driving at night because it's dark. Just stuff like that. These are all evolutions over time. So we don't have the luxury of being able to keep a car for 100,000 miles and test it and make our marks. So we use our clientele as how we solicit feedback to improve the product. And that's how we evolve. So we're on the 3rd generation of FJs and the 3rd generation of Broncos, because as we solicit feedback, we make those evolutions on the cars on the assembly line. but you want to do it in a calculated manner because, like I was telling you, the ripple effect is huge.
Yeah. Have you had any client come back with like a first gen, I want to be, can I update this third gen spec?
Yeah,
Okay.
it happens quite often, and there are certain limitations where we can do certain things, and
Yeah.
there are certain things that we can't do.
Can't completely rebuild it. That's what you're telling us.
We have clients sell one and
Yeah.
buy another.
Get a new one. That's really awesome.
And value retention is a big thing in this day and age. It's something we're very proud of.
Yeah, these are not inexpensive vehicles,
Nope.
but if you see the details, you see what goes into them, it makes absolute sense.
Right.
Like, this is really impressive.
Thank you.
And then with that, this is a Derelict Bronco, right?
That is a Derelict Bronco.
I really like the Derelict series.
The Derelict series is awesome because the worst thing you can do to a brand new car is get that first dent or first
Exactly.
scratch, and then you're like, oh, cringe.
Yeah.
So these Derelicts, they're ready for that already.
Yeah.
So you're gonna park next to somebody, whether it be at a nice restaurant or valet, and they're not gonna give this the value it is. But those that know, trust me, they know. And the subtlety in this is, we call them the ultimate sleepers.
Yeah.
If you understand, if you're in the sort of business or in the know-how, you'll see the ICON lizard. On every Derelict gets one of them placed somewhere along the car.
So is it specified, or is it kind of just like they end up somewhere on the car?
It's somewhere on the car.
Okay.
So we will change a place depending on the vehicle.
Okay.
And then a very subtle Derelict badging. But
I do like that.
as you'd notice, there's no ICON branding that's a little bit heavier.
Yeah.
So again, back to it being an ultimate sleeper. The Brembos you don't see because it's the old school ICON wheel with the original Ford center caps, which have been, again, patinaed and acid washed to mash.
But the interior on this is beautiful. So the exterior is original patina, everything.
Yeah.
But the inside gets completely overhauled, right?
It's a perfect blend of, again, modern and vintage. You open this, you kind of have to understand there has to be cohesion between them, but we're very careful in what we choose and how we choose it. So you have underneath this center console a double DIN head unit that gives you CarPlay and all the latest features.
Okay.
The dash looks rather simple, but you have a full HVAC unit.
Yeah.
So you get air conditioning, you get heating, you get the ambient lighting as you can see when the doors open.
Yeah.
A lot of this LED lighting throughout on these cars is sort of the technological limit of what we can do today. Masked as a car that's relatively untouched.
Yeah.
So if you didn't know and this is driving, you're like, well, it's a cool old
Bronco, yeah.
And then you get behind it and you see a little, I spy a red caliper underneath.
Yeah.
Or I see an LED light that shouldn't be there and you realize there's more to it than that.
Just the smell of the interior, the materials, it is, I can't describe it. Like, it smells brand new and expensive.
That's a good way to explain it. But again, the partners we use and the fabrics that we use and the leathers that we use, none of these are regular run-of-the-mill automotive grade. Everything is the high line of, what is out there, what is AV and UV stable, what is made for automotive use, and then sometimes we go to marine grade because you get the weatherproofing.
Yeah.
No, don't be afraid. There you go.
There we go.
And that'll hide in
Sidestep
about
will go
3
back
seconds.
in. That's why I like the Derelict series, because like you said, looking at it, it appears to be just your run-of-the-mill old Bronco, right? But if you know, underneath the chassis, the engineering, the details, wow.
Right.
That's cool. What's the split between Derelict versus like new school and so forth?
Great question. So our demographic was primarily male, and we only had the new school offering up to 2019.
Oh, okay.
And then we realized that if we wanted to open it up, why don't we do an old school? And an old school is like the vehicle behind you.
Okay.
So an old school is a fully finished exterior.
Yeah.
But you pay homage to the original Bronco. So the bumpers are like the original chrome and or white Bronco bumpers.
Okay.
They're not the Icon, bigger, more masculine bumpers that hide a lot of the stuff. Mechanically, they're identical.
Okay.
Trim is the only difference.
I see.
So the grille is white.
Yeah.
So you go into colors that are pastels or more original colors, and that opened up our demographic to women.
Oh, I see.
Almost immediately.
Wow.
So I would tell you right now, we sell more old school than new school.
Okay.
And the demographic of our clientele on the old school to new school, we're 50-50 in Bronco.
Really? Okay. So where does Derelict fit in there in terms of, is that kind of more rare? People want to
It
do
is
that?
more rare. It's
Yeah.
also a newer offering.
Okay, yeah.
But I would say that we have built 3 of them recently. I have more on order that are coming in. So that's expanding. It's a bit polarizing. You either get it or you don't.
Yeah. Some people, when they're spending that much, they probably want the
they
whole
want to show,
glossy, brand new.
Yeah, so some people understand that. And then some people would prefer it to look brand new all the way through.
Gotcha.
So it depends on preference.
Awesome. So this is the FJ line and the Bronco line.
Correct.
What's the other half of the shop? Because this is like
there's-
one fifth of your entire facility.
I
if
was
that.
just going to say, we're just covered 20%.
Okay.
If you kind of go through right here, this is a fully dedicated parts department.
Okay.
And they run on a production schedule that's accelerated to keep our production units moving.
Okay.
So when you see a car, like if you look behind you, all of these are labeled, color-coded.
Okay.
Every one of those, it corresponds to a build.
Ah, the boxes.
The boxes
Gotcha.
for that stage. So
Oh,
if
I
a
see.
technician needs something for that car, everything he needs is in that bin for that car.
You guys this is like a giant Lego operation. It's like Lego
Completely.
sets. Yeah.
It's all about how do you get this engine to move as
Yeah.
efficiently as possible.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Because again, you have so many technicians working, and the worst thing you can do is suspend them because they're waiting for a part.
Exactly.
And COVID didn't do us any favors over the past 2 years. I mean, you see what happened to the world and supply chain.
Yes.
So we're impacted as well. So we have to react in a swift way and understand that order fulfillment has to change and our ability to get things on the shelf has to change. We have to be more proactive, and we have to basically be able to get things put in and systematically organized so that these technicians keep kind of just the builds moving.
Keep it moving. How many hands touch a car? Like how many technicians are just overall members?
Depends on the team.
Okay.
But anywhere between 3 and 7
Okay.
per car.
So that's okay. That's not that many though. That's
It's
still
not.
it's a
It's
small
not.
core, tight knit
No,
team.
and,
right?
and again, in terms of it being a small core, it's not like I can find a technician out and say, hey, come on in and build. The learning curve is pretty extensive.
Okay.
So that's why we have an apprentice program. That's
Yeah.
why we're basically looking constantly to expand the team.
Okay.
But that's a challenge in and of itself.
Absolutely. So I'm looking at a bunch of really old machine shop type of things, right?
Yeah, we got a full machine shop.
Okay.
So this thing is running all the time.
Yeah.
It allows us to fabricate a lot of things on the fly when we need them, so we're not at the mercy of having to wait for a sublet to provide something for us.
Okay.
Right behind this wall is a 4-axis CNC machine
So that's where all the modern stuff is.
and plasma cutter.
Gotcha.
So it doesn't stop at just what you see here that
Yeah.
we need by hand. We're able to produce if we need to.
Okay.
And again, in terms of this, it's just about flexibility and our ability to keep the engine running
Gotcha.
and everything moving.
Gotcha.
Right here is a good footprint in our business, and this is the Derelict and Reformer Department.
Okay.
So these we call and refer to as halo builds. And what a halo build is, imagine all the conceptualizing, all the design, all the production that you saw in those 2 departments put into one vehicle.
So everything that goes into an entire assembly line of a series of FJs or Broncos into
for
one
one car.
bespoke build.
Yeah, and we won't repeat them.
Oh wow.
So these cars are either cars that mean something because of nostalgic value
Okay.
to a client, or just aspirational sort of builds that I've always been drawn to this car. I didn't have the financial ability to do it.
Yeah.
But now I'm committing to it's a long-term project. So these cars are thousands of man hours
Wow.
and take years to realize.
Oh wow.
So-
From concept to actual even starting
Absolutely.
prototyping and
So I'm not even talking about wait list. For me to put it on the floor, it's going to be on the floor for over a year and a half.
that's crazy. Wow. There are very few companies in the world that will do that level of bespoke ground up, right?
It's a difficult ask, and it's becoming more and more difficult.
Yeah.
But that's why things like the machine shop and the CNC machine and the fabrication skills that we have allow us to be able to kind of poach this topic, because most companies don't want to, because it's Pandora's box.
Yeah, that
You're opening
you
it
never
and
know.
it's filled with unknowns.
That's crazy. So we're looking at, that's the Mercedes one that I am personally really, really excited to see as you guys push that through.
Yes, so this one is going to be driving probably within a month or so.
Okay.
And this is a beautiful Mercedes 300 SEL.
Yeah.
And then underneath it is all the stuff that you saw over there, whether it be Art Morrison, but there's an LS9 waiting to hum.
Woohoo,
So,
a supercharged V8. That'll be fun.
Yeah,
That'll
so-
be very fun.
so a lot of power there. And then some more builds here. So this is a Cherokee.
Okay.
And this one's getting ready, as you can see, to go to get body. So all
Okay.
the markings that you see are for our body shop partner.
Gotcha.
To be able to come and get that process going.
Yeah.
So it will leave the floor for a good 2 to 3 months just to do that.
Wow.
Before it comes back.
Okay.
And then
Coming back, then it goes out for paint, and then.
well, that's the paint portion, and then it comes back for final assembly.
Okay, gotcha. So I'm assuming interior details, that type of stuff is running in parallel as you're doing this
It
thing?
does. So
Yeah.
you're juggling all the balls, and
Yeah.
it's all about timing.
Yeah, that's
So you want to keep all the sublets moving because one will hold the other. And just like I was telling you, with hundreds of line items, one change creates a ripple effect.
the cascade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have to monitor those real careful, because that's why in terms of fulfillment, we have to be way ahead.
Okay.
Because if not, I'm stopping the production line.
Yeah, that
There's no way around it.
sounds like a high stress thing to deal with.
No stress.
No stress, none at all. Can you tell us more about this 300 SEL?
Sure. This client is a great client of ours and a multiple ICON owner.
Oh, okay.
He actually is the owner of an ICON Bronco, Derelict.
Awesome. One of the three, right?
Yeah.
They're out there.
And again, as we kind of went through this, this has been his dream build and something that he wanted to realize for a while.
Okay.
It takes a little bit longer to build, like I was telling you, because of what's involved. But just the level of detail on something like this, whether it be just the electric harness, so you guys can kind of peek through this.
I meant to
Again,
comment earlier, it's a shame to cover that up. Like,
it is a shame to cover it up, but you kind of want that, again, ultimate sleeper. He wants
Yeah.
to pull up at the light and piss off the purists.
Yeah.
And people are going to look at it and not know what it is, and then you're going to hear it, and those that know, and those that don't are going to be in awe.
yeah. I like that it's gone to a 6.2 badge. These used to be, these are badge 6.3s for Mercedes, right? That's a cool touch.
And we're going to keep the derelict finish.
Okay.
So again, back to the ultimate sleeper. You don't have to worry about the first ding.
Okay.
So we're not going to paint. The wheels, again, are something that fits a little bit more. You have to accommodate the Brembos,
Yes.
so it's a larger diameter wheel and it's wider. So we, as you could see, didn't have a lot of room to play with on the rear fenders. So that took a lot of creativity and clearance to be able to make that happen. And a lot of metal work on the inside to be able to make this what it is right now.
Like, these are modern speaker enclosures, aren't
yeah.
they? Like, but
With focals in them.
wow. And everything's dynamated.
Oh yeah.
Sound deadening and everything. And
Yeah, we go to the extreme in terms
Yeah.
of dynamating, sound deadening, insulating, making sure all the windows are glass. If we don't have an original one that's good, we have to custom make them.
wow. That's
So the level of detail on a build like this is very involved, because again, it's never been done. It's not like I can call somebody and they say, oh, I have it on a shelf.
yeah. This is kind of like reminiscent of the lost art of coach building. Like, you're
absolutely.
like completely custom, right?
Absolutely. And that's the biggest challenge here, is because very few are capable and competent to be able to do this.
Yeah.
So our master fabricators,
Yeah.
once they get their hands on these cars and plan it from concept, we have design engineers, we have mechanical engineers, we have electrical engineers. So all those teams have to touch something, and they have to work in cohesive units to be able to make sure that the final product does what we wanted it to do.
This is an awesome engine bay.
Yeah.
It's an LS9, and the fabrication, everything. Wow,
And
that
just,
looks-
there's not an inch to spare.
no, yeah,
Look, firewall all the way to radiator support.
that'll be fun.
Yeah.
The owner's a lucky guy to have this.
Yeah, it's one.
Holy crap. And this would be calibrated and supported by HP tuners, right?
Yes, sir. Your product.
Anything GM?
Almost all our vehicles, we use your product.
I love hearing that. Yeah, I think we were talking to some of the techs and the guys. They were saying they were just using it to turn off some codes. And
So-
program in and set fans, all things like
Again,
that.
just to
right?
give you an example, when a manufacturer changes from one gen to another, they're not giving us any notice. We just find out. And when you do that, all the stuff that you have, whether it be a wiring harness that currently exists or some codes that come from the manufacturer,
Yeah.
we have to find a solution for. HP tuners is the
Happy to
solution.
help and make these things possible. Like, this is crazy.
A lot of these components are going to be fit into the Mercedes. So whether it's taking an original trim and then having it redone, relacquered so that it fits back in, and then worrying about thickness and tolerances, that's one challenge. Or having the ability to 3D print the console and then leather wrap it.
This looks like original Mercedes finish
That's
and
the point.
everything. It has
Mi-
USB
mi-
ports.
Mission accomplished.
So this was 3D printed and then
wrapped.
And then wrapped.
Yeah. And then given all the technological advancements like the USB ports,
Yeah.
seat heaters.
Oh, those are seat heaters.
Yeah.
Wow.
Obviously stuff that didn't come with it.
No.
But technology allows us to take things to the next level, and we utilize that every opportunity we can.
But it still fits with the overall theme and doesn't look like it's
Exactly.
just
We don't
stinky.
want to look like a modern interior. We don't want to hack a dash and put in a screen.
Yeah,
It defeats the purpose.
that is. It also helps the car not age, right?
Right.
30
Keeps it
years from
timeless.
now, yeah, it's timeless. That's the thing. Screens to me, like the technology
Yeah.
dates it. If you look like a infotainment screen from
Think of it.
5 years ago, you're like, what is this?
If I put an iPad on the dash, that iPad's going to change in a year, and that iPad won't work anymore.
Yeah. So that's really cool. Stands the test of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is this? This is like an old military truck.
It is. It's called an M37.
Okay.
It was built a long time ago. And if I was just tell you in terms of ultimate utility, super cool.
Yeah.
Just, it has this presence to it. That's what this is about. It's not about the conquest of what you're seeing here in terms of the details, but it's just I'm driving it because I can.
Yeah, absolutely. It's unlike anything else you see on the road. That's guaranteed. Man. I was checking out this.
That's
Ford,
beautiful.
Yeah.
And this is, again, an example of devil in the details, because if you look at the finish and the machining on this, everything from the Ranger trim that you see on the sides to when you open the doors, everything here is custom.
Oh man, the side step,
Yeah, if you look at the inside.
the instrument cluster is beautiful too.
Yeah. And it's a perfect blend of, again, modern and vintage. You kind of don't want to make it look where somebody looks into this car and it looks like a total resto mod. So there's beauty and subtlety.
I love the icon machined into the side trim.
Yeah.
Closing the doors is so satisfying on all of your builds too.
Because new cars don't have that anymore.
No, it's like a teeny rattle. It sounds like plastic. Yeah, absolutely.
No, these are solid.
This is a solid.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling
latch.
you. You can put elbow grease
Yeah.
in it. They'll close.
That's very cool. What else is there to see?
Let me show you one more department that we're very proud of, and this is I would call it our third full production department.
Okay.
And these are the Thriftmasters.
So these are relatively new.
They're newer.
Okay.
It's a few years old, so it doesn't have the sort of the mileage that an FJ or a Bronco has in terms of what we've done with them.
Okay.
But right now it's one of the most popular offerings that we have. We offer it in new school, we offer it in old school and derelict trim.
Okay.
So what you see here are two derelicts back to back.
Okay.
It's based on the 3100 series from the late 40s, early 50s. They drive like a car because of how low they are.
Oh.
In terms of fun, this is probably the most fun you'll have in an Icon.
Really?
These
Why
are
is
just
that?
awesome because it's a perfect blend of power, aesthetics, coolness, and again, you just kind of put it together in a package that embodies everything we do. The chassis is Art Morrison chassis.
Okay.
All the products that we're talking about are almost identical. Right here, because it's a derelict, this client wanted reclaimed wood.
What?
So this is old reclaimed wood. And if you were to look at the bottom side, actually let me show you right here, just so you can understand what the process entails. We have to do a shusugibon, which is a Japanese method of charring to seal the wood.
Oh wow.
And then we'll keep the top reclaimed, so this will preserve it so that it will last for as long as he wants to keep this truck, which is hopefully forever.
That is insane.
So all these processes, again, are not necessary.
Yeah.
I can run some varnish on it, whether it be matte or whatnot, but again, it wouldn't give it the preservation that we're going to. And then you run the channels here, which again have been patinaed, acid washed to match, because if they're brand new, it just looks off.
Exactly. That is an art form, to be able to patina something that's brand new to make it match, right?
Absolutely.
There's no science really that you can follow. There's no formula. It's,
And to your point, I mean, I wish I could make this clear so you can see what's under it, because that's pretty freaking cool.
That I agree with that too. Like, this whole thing is an piece of art, rolling piece of art in engineering. Yeah. That's what you guys make.
So how do you take something like this, keep the charm, keep sort of the cool factor, but make it reliable and make it modern and give me the creature comforts that you and I are used to. Give me a backup camera.
Yeah.
Give me air conditioning. That's
Apple
what these are.
CarPlay. Like you guys have CarPlay and something that looks like that.
Yeah.
That is insane.
So this is, again, in the same vein of this one, it's a derelict Thriftmaster, but a complete different vibe. This one has the military kind of retro, kind of dark green. This one's a little bit more fun and lively.
It's like a Tiffany blue.
Even the wheel caps, those are the original ones that came on the car.
Wow.
But we made them to the Icon wheels, which we not only painted, but we again patinaed to make them look a bit aged.
How do you do that? How do you patina something like that with a brand new forged wheel?
It's a full process of you have to scuff, acid wash, and you have to know what you're doing.
That last part is probably the biggest key thing. You have to
but
know
that's
what you're
true
doing.
of anything.
Yeah, yeah.
You build expertise as you basically understand and learn, and then you go on. So if we don't do it in-house, we partner with the people that are best at what they do. And that yields the final product that we're proud of, and we can put our name on.
What's the time scale for the Thriftmasters compared to the Broncos?
So it's a
and
2-year wait list,
Okay.
but just here, because everything we do is production based, so
Yes.
everything's broken up into stages. If you were to give me all the parts and I'm not waiting for a sublet, I can finish one in 18 weeks.
Oh, okay. So it does take the longest out of the
Yeah,
3
of the
lines.
3.
But 18 weeks. But that 2-year wait list.
A 2-year wait list is because I need more personnel.
Ah, I see. Okay.
So if we can find personnel, then we're able to kind of expedite that a bit. But
Gotcha.
that's a challenge I think most of the world is suffering from right now.
Absolutely. This is an amazing facility.
Thank you.
You guys have an amazing operation. We love being able to partner with you guys and support you guys to
We
ensure-
appreciate the partnership and we use it, so that's
Yeah,
good. That's another one coming in for service.
So that's a 6-seater FJ?
That's a 44, which is the
Okay.
extended wheelbase 4-door, which they never offered in the US, but
Okay.
that's the most popular version that we sell is the 4-door FJ.
That's really cool. And they sound so good. Just the rumble of a good V8.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
And then let me show you one more thing, Eddie.
I also love the random just road signs and all sorts of
Yeah.
things all over the place. It just gives it the whole
appropriate.
ambiance.
It's a vibe.
Absolutely.
So you look here,
Yeah.
those are all spoken for projects.
Just waiting.
Waiting their turn. So
Wow.
we call those the sort of the patients on deck in triage. They're ready to come in, but once the production line for whichever subsequent build is going to be,
Yeah.
they pull it in and begin.
There are some other unique vehicles too, because I'm looking at some.
These are all our,
BMWs
yeah, these are the one-offs that over the time, either Jonathan looked at them and he just couldn't resist,
Okay.
or would make a great icon derelict at some point. Those we put there, those are one-offs.
I see. Just waiting
Yeah.
and waiting. You can leave them outside because it's not like a lot of them are in pretty rough condition. That
Yeah,
is-
and those we're going to end up brand new, so we're not worried about those.
Yeah.
And the derelicts will just age better.
yeah. There you go.
because
You want
It
that.
doesn't rain a lot in Southern California.
No, it's not. So there it is, a quick walkthrough with Sherif of the ICON facility and learning about what you guys do here. At HP Tuners, we're really proud to partner and support with entities in the automotive industry like ICON. So all these vehicles here with an LS3 or a Coyote have HP Tuners software helping make them possible. But the focus here is you guys. Make sure you guys check out ICON on social media if you're looking for a vehicle build. I heard the wait list is quite long, but you're in market. We can't recommend them highly enough. Thanks for watching, everyone.